Hello folks, welcome to Board Game Corner. I'm Mark.
And I'm Randy.
It's the end of the year. This is our top 14 of 2014. However, that might be a little deceiving. We're really doing 7 apiece. 7 for me, 7 for Randy, and I suspect our lists will be quite different because I've had an opportunity to play more of the games in 2014 than Randy has due to the fact I was at several of the conventions.
True, very true. Now, over 1,000 games were released in 2014, and we haven't had a chance to play all of them, maybe 600-700 of them? Not even close to that many.
Not even close.
So when we give our awards, we're going to refer to our favorites or best, and they refer to within the context of the games that we have played.
Exactly.
Now, each of us didn't choose a specific category and then try to fit games within that. We each chose our 7 favorite games, but we're going to give you a category or a context with each of those games to give you an idea of where we think those games excel.
Exactly. And at the end, we're going to give our most look forward to game that we're most looking forward to playing that we didn't get to in 2014,
That's right.
say. So let's start the countdown at number 7. All right, my number 7 is Abyss. All right, so the main reason I like this game is I love the artwork and the components. They're absolutely amazing.
They are.
And the pearls, they really add a lot to the game. And the game, it's a drafting mechanic to pull allies, to recruit lords, to take strategic areas of an underwater city. It's just a really fun and engaging game. And I played it at a couple different conventions, and I played it with Randy finally. And it really has a suck you in value, and that's something I look forward to, not just in board games, but in video games as well. So it's one of my criteria. It has to pull me in some way, and the artwork components just do it right out of the gate. And the other thing about it is it just feels right. I don't know how to say that, right? You know what I mean? It has a really good feel to the game, and I just can't get over it. It's probably the best artwork of the year for me.
It is exceptional, no question about that. And I think what you're saying as far as sucking you in, I think the mechanics are intriguing enough and somewhat unusual enough that you want to play. You want to keep playing and get another lord, get another location, everything like that. So
it's got some really nice value in that way.
Yes.
So that's my number 7. What about you, Randy?
My number 7 is Pandemic Contagion.
Oh, wow, nice.
And it gets my Less is More award for 2014. And what I mean by that is games that are inexpensive, probably around $20 or less.
Oh, very nice.
With simplistic components, no big board, anything like that. But for which, within that small package, there's a lot of gameplay. And it competed in my sphere of games I played this year. It competed with Machi Koro and Sushi Go, both which I like a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But Pandemic Contagion, for those of you who haven't played, it's the reverse of Pandemic. Instead of trying to save the world, you're a virus trying to destroy the world.
Which, as you pointed out in our review, is a horrible theme.
Horrible theme. But you don't feel like you're killing babies in Africa or anything like that. You're just moving little pieces around. But I think that it does encourage you to think multiple moves ahead, and it's fun. So I really enjoyed playing it. It's got little petri dishes with little tiny virus cubes. So we did a review of it. If you're interested in it, check that out.
Definitely. Well, I have to agree. It's that's a good choice for your number 7.
Thanks.
All right, my number 6 is Zombie 15. Now, this is one of those games like Escape where it's timed. It's 15 minutes per scenario. But don't let that fool you. The game's actually much longer if you go through the entire story. Oh, yeah. But it's 15 minutes. You roll dice. You have characters that you expand upon. You get to build on their weapons, and it's very intense. Especially when the horde jumps out and zombies are everywhere.
Literally, they dump a box of zombies.
Literally everywhere. So it's just the tension is high, and one of my favorite moments playing with my daughter, my youngest daughter, Tessa, she just got so tense in the game. She was pulling her hair out. It was just so much fun, and that was one of the things that drew me in. And again, here's a game that the artwork and components are just amazing, just beautiful. And
now this was a Kickstarter game that reached a lot of its stretch goals. And so that's why you see all these things like additional characters.
Exactly.
And additional, deformed zombies and so forth. So, and additional weapons cards and things like that.
Yep. And the characters are just really detailed. And they've got multiple types. And they even have a boss character, which is pretty cool. So, again, and I think you'll see a trend here. Most of my games in my list are very theme driven.
You hate zombies.
Oh, no. You hate zombies.
Oh, that's right. That's me. Okay.
So it's a very fun, quick game to play. However, the setup time is a little bit long, but you don't mind because everybody can jump in and help build the city that you're in any particular scenario. So you should definitely check it out. How about you, Randy?
My number 6 is one that I'm sure is not on yours.
I bet not.
And it is Camel Up, or for those of you who call it by the other name, it's Camel Cup. There is much religious debate over that.
Yeah, let's hear a little. What is the deal with the Camel Cup?
Okay,
let's tell folks.
There's a C that could or could not be used for both camel and up below it, so that's why the argument comes in there. The reason I like it, and the word I give it, is game with the best social interaction for 2014.
It definitely has very nice social interaction.
And and I was glad you got a chance to play with us the other night.
Yeah.
It's quick to set up, it's quick to explain, and it's quick to engage people.
Very, very quick to explain.
And there's a lot of uptime, so turns are quick. It's not prone to analysis paralysis. And although some people...
Not at all.
No, but there's enough thinking, and I think some people, especially those who like heavy strategy, will look at it and go, it's just random, doesn't make any difference what I do. But if you play it enough, you understand that you are betting on outcomes, and if you look at the possible permutations, it's like there's 5 dice, one for each camel. You're not the camel rider. You're just someone like at a horse track betting on the camel race, and you're betting on the outcome of the leg as well as the whole game. And because of that, you can anticipate, 3 of the dice have been rolled. That means 3 of the camels have moved. There's only 2 more left, and here's the possibilities they could do. And so as you do that, you have a choice between doing something like the sure thing of getting money through rolling dice, like you prefer to do because you love dice.
I like to roll dice.
But when you do that, you also give some information to the next person at the table because you've eliminated one of the permutations or more. So anyway, it's been great fun. And
the interesting thing is that like you said, a statistics type game, right?
It is.
But Jeff, in our game group, he just right out of the gate lays cards down that are, and he wins.
You would not believe it.
Without any idea that might be in the lead.
He bets on the winner of the race within
two turns.
2 turns, okay?
Easily.
And so 20 moves later,
hilarious.
it's proven true. So it's really uncanny.
It's uncanny. So the statistics thing doesn't quite work out.
Well, we can't rule out paranormal activity,
paranormal activity.
Psychic abilities and so forth.
I do have to admit it's a fun game. It's definitely not in my top 10.
I didn't expect it would be.
But I'll play it. I'd play it over several games, but it's just not one of my go-to games. But I definitely enjoy it. I think it's a really good party game, actually.
Yeah. And I think it draws people who don't want to play categories or, God forbid, headbands or something like that.
Exactly. I would play Camel Up or like Cash and Guns way before something like headbands if I had a choice.
And that's why we're friends.
That's right. All right, my number 5. Another theme-heavy game is Legendary Encounters and Alien Deck Builder. So it's so funny because out of the gate, I did not like this game because of the whole setup and the out-of-the-box experience. But I played it many times since, and we've sleeved the cards and we color-coded things, and I just love this game. And, I'm a fan of the Alien movies, so it already had that going for it. It was going to suck me in. I really enjoy the tension in this game. Again, it's another just, the aliens keep coming and we can't stop them. Although we've won several times, which is great.
We have. And I came this close to being turned into an alien myself, and I was able to get rid of the chest burster at the last minute.
Right. And I've actually only had someone turn into an alien one time in the gameplay that we've done. So I'd love that to happen more often, kind of. I would love to see some more of those kinds of things happen. But it's really fun. I really enjoy the artwork. It's all original artwork for the game. I like the playmat. I just like the mechanics of how and the deck building that you do. It's just really, really fun, and it definitely puts you in mind of the characters in the movies. And each scenario, right, is one of the different movies. So it has that immediate connection if you enjoy or watch those movies.
Even if you hated Aliens 3 and 4, which I did personally.
Which the game is better than the movies.
The game is way better than the movies. So forget everything you saw or heard about those movies. The game does make those entertaining.
And people will make comparisons with the Marvel version, right? But this one is very cooperative play, which is something I really enjoy. I really like cooperative games. So that's another reason this game sucks me in. Just definitely top of my list.
So mine, and I'm going to pull this list over here. We got number 7, we got number 6, we got number 5. My number 5 is Legendary Encounters, the exact same one. We did not orchestrate. I had to show him this to prove that I wasn't just mimicking. And this is what I consider the best collaborative game I played in 2014, and Mark was referencing that as well.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, you get to not only share your attack points when you're trying to attack you attack an alien creature, you also can share some recruitment points.
Yep.
And the whole goal of this is a deck building game, so it's in your best interest to help your partners build an awesome deck. Of course, you trade off, because if you see one of the guys there, somebody you really want, you might be less inclined, and maybe that selfishness is justified because your deck needs to be as good as can be. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there. But in terms of collaboration, as difficult as it was to set up this game, I really appreciate Mark going to the extra time, effort, and financial investment to sleeve all the games or all the cards.
It's so worth it, though.
It was, and so we initially didn't like it, as he said, but it's a game that's on my list as well as his, clearly.
Yep. And I think the tension in the game is awesome.
Oh, there is,
And just like the movies, I think the second scenario is my favorite. Just like
with
the second
Marines,
movie with all the Marines.
Yeah.
But there are definitely merits to some of those other. It's a lot different game, like for the third and fourth.
Oh, right.
It's really neat how you would think it would just be kind of the same game with different skin, but based on the scenario and the characters, it really changes the game.
It does, because the powers of each of the characters you're recruiting, first of all, the characters you can recruit into your deck changes based upon each of the movies, each scenario. And so the way they interact with each other and the powers they have change. Some of them, like Marines, might have more combat experience and they can do more damage. Other ones, you can actually weed out characters from your deck. I think that's movie 3. And so you're eliminating a lot of the flotsam and jetsam from your deck, and that makes your deck tighter and more powerful. Exactly. So it's very good.
Yep, big thumbs up. Number 5. Okay, my number 4 is Mysterium.
Surprise, surprise!
This is a recent addition for me after playing at BGG Con and then several plays now with my family. This game is so much fun, and technically, I think the published date on it is 2013, but it's a Polish.
Cheat.
It's a Polish game from Portal, and
Can you tell us what the Polish name is?
I can't remember. I should have looked that up first.
It's down here in one of the corners, right? Someplace here.
But Mysterium, the U.S. version, is going to come out later or next year. I think at Gen Con is when they're going to release the U.S. version. But this game is so much fun. And out of the gate, when someone described it to me, it was Dixit meets Clue, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, it doesn't sound very entertaining.
Yeah. But you get into this game, and it is awesome. Oh my God, I love this game. It is so much fun. It's again another cooperative game. The artwork on all the cards is beautiful, and it's kind of in the way that it's like Clue is that you basically the story of the game is that there's a spirit or ghost in the game as one of the players. And then there's all these paranormal investigators, and they're interpreting dreams from the ghost to determine the item, the location, and then the person. And the reason this is going on is because the ghost was wrongfully accused, and he was killed, or sentenced to death, I should say. And so now he's trying to reveal the real culprit in the murder. So you have 7 rounds or 7 days to complete this, and it's just the tension is high because the days are ticking off, and we have not actually finished very many times, maybe twice.
Oh, wow.
So, and at BGG-Con when I played, we never finished, but it was so much fun. And everybody took turns playing this ghost or the spirit, and the spirit cannot speak or interact with anybody, and when you hear the investigators going down a wrong path based on a card you gave them, you're like, no, that's not what I meant. There's just so much fun. I mean, it's almost like a party game in some respects. Everybody's interacting. It's just really fun. And the ghost is, it's very tense for the ghost because you really want these people to succeed, So that's my number 4.
I'm looking forward to playing that. And in fact, if we have time, we'll play it after we finish filming this.
Yes,
so why are you people keeping me from playing this game? My number 4 is Spurs.
Oh, really?
And it gets my best delivery of theme in 2014. Now, for those of you who haven't seen it, Spurs
it's an awesome theme. I love it.
It's the Old West. You're playing as a character in the Old West, and you each get your player cards where each one has a different character. And you do everything from go get gunslingers or bandits to fighting bears, which I recall you didn't do very well with bears.
Right. It has all these little mini games.
Mini games if you're going to get a horse and break a wild bronco. You have little mini games. You can go after, like I said, desperados and try to not get shot. And if you bring them back, you get rewards.
But that bear again. Beware the bear.
Yeah, totally annihilated.
Beware the bear. Oh, man.
But I'm not a person who was initially inclined to like Western games. I grew up with a family who
was very surprised. I'm shocked it's on your list. I'm shocked.
I grew up with a family who was big on country Western music. My mom wrote and sang it. We've been to the Grand Ole Opry, backstage, met Loretta Lynn, blah, blah, blah. And then Porter Wagner and all the classics. Okay, so I grew up, and when I got out of the house, it was like, don't want anything to do with the Old West at all. But I had a friend who introduced me to spaghetti westerns and things like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so it is a genre I appreciate more now. And this does a really good job of you just feel like you're in the Old West.
Yeah, very cool. I'm surprised it's on your list. I'm very shocked.
Well, you're surprised the theme-based game is on my list.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
I'm curious if it's going to be on yours, but I guess we'll see.
We'll see. I definitely enjoyed the Spurs. It's a good one. That was a good pick. Okay, time for number 3. So, my third pick is 5 Tribes.
Not too surprised about that. And it's a good choice.
I really enjoy 5 Tribes. I call it a worker displacement game because you're actually pulling workers away from the board. And you have things from assassins to merchants and so forth. And basically what you're doing is you're moving around the board and pulling people off to occupy a square or go to the market or assassinate people and so forth. So there's lots of neat fiddly bits in this game that, they're just... What I like about it is there's so many options and so many paths. And we've seen people win many different ways.
Oh, yeah.
There's not just one, if you're the merchant, you win, So I really enjoy it. I like the components again, the artwork in this game. And I know that you're not so keen on the slave bit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Well, and for those of you who haven't played, but have played something like Mancala, which is a game where you take marbles or stones out of pits and work around.
Yeah.
This is basically, instead of a linear path around a circle, this is doing it in a grid system. The only thing you can't do is back up, but otherwise you can go in any direction. And you pick up...
Just not diagonal.
Right. You pick up the meeples and you drop them off on each of the squares until you get to the last one, and you pick up all the meeples of that color you just dropped off and then activate them. Like you said, it could be merchants or it could be assassins. But I was surprised that slaves are depicted so
and you're
realistically.
You're bartering and trading with slaves and sacrificing them to the genies and so forth. So there's definitely maybe some weirdness there. But
since you've already ignored the fact that with pandemic contagion I was killing the world, I'll forgive you for the slave thing. Okay.
And by no means do we condone slavery.
No, we don't condone anything at all.
That's right. What about you?
My number 3 is actually what I would consider the best expansion of 2014, and that's Babel.
Oh, wow, nice.
So it's...
I have yet to play Babel.
And I know it wasn't going to be on your list.
Yeah, nice.
So for those of you who love Seven Wonders and have enjoyed the 2 expansions, this is a new, actually a pair of expansions.
Yeah.
One of them which allows you to get a set of tiles and build, if you choose to play a tile instead of a card, lets you build up a tower in front of you, and you actually put a slice of the tower out there, and that has something on it that impacts the entire table. So it might be something that says, guess what? Any of your single resources on a brown card doesn't count just as one, but counts as any number as you want it to be. So it could be good, could be bad, but it creates more than the base game. It creates a sense of interaction, both in a positive and negative sense.
So do you feel that it slows down the game at all? I wondered about that.
It might add a little bit more analysis to the game.
AP?
Yeah, and it also gives people a chance to completely hose other people, because
nice.
you say,
like
here's
that.
one that completely, I'm playing because I know this is going to shut down certain cards, so I'm not playing those cards, and and you guys are hosed over here. But because you can build on top of those and obscure them, as soon as they leave sight, they're no longer in effect. So that's the Tower of Babel part, but there's also this great projects thing, and I won't go into detail on it, but it's basically if you don't contribute, then you don't get the advantage. If this thing doesn't get built, then there are penalties for anybody who didn't at least try to contribute.
Right.
And the penalties are usually worse than rewards. And so everybody's having to make these choices, not only between them and other players, but also it's like, wow, I don't want to play a red card. I don't want to get involved with war, but I don't want to deal with that penalty. So am I going to play a red card to get away from this penalty or what? So it does a great job of expanding the gameplay of Seven Wonders. I wouldn't.
Would you call it like an essential addition to the game?
Wow, I like leaders and cities so much that I don't know if it's considered essential, especially since it won't fit in my modified box, whereas the other two do now.
That's right.
But I definitely consider it an expansion worth pursuing. If you're saying I love Seven Wonders, I've played the daylights out of cities and leaders, I want to try something different. I wouldn't play it with all. I mean, you wouldn't play all of them at the same time. You'd play either Tower of Babel or some great projects, and you probably wouldn't play them even with leaders. It depends. It's up to you. But it definitely gets you a lot more mileage out of Seven Wonders.
Well, I'm anxious to give it a try for sure.
And again, why are you people keeping us from playing?
All right, number 2. So, man, I really struggled with 2 and 1. I kept flip-flopping them. It was really hard to pick. So, number 2 for me is Star Wars Imperial Assault. Now, I don't actually own this game. I've only played it at BGG-Con.
That wasn't a requirement.
Right. So, but I will own it soon.
It will be mine.
It will be mine. This is a tactical combat game. It's really got two types of game. You can do skirmishes, where just all-out battle. You can do the scenario or the campaigns, which that's how I like to play. It's got the Star Wars feel to it. Totally. You've got the dark side, and you've got the Empire and the Rebels, and you have some familiar faces, and then you have generic ones like Wookiees and so forth. But it's Star Wars. I'm so predisposed to liking this game.
How many times have you seen the original Star Wars movie?
Oh, it's embarrassing. When I was a kid, it was in theaters for over a year, and I saw the original Star Wars movie like 160 times in the theater. So
he likes Star Wars a little bit.
So yeah, it's a little obsessive. I saw so many times in the theater that the manager finally just told me, just go. He just got sick of me showing up every morning during a summer that I saw it. So anyway, but this game is it's like they made it for me, and I know that Tom thinks they made it for him, but I think it was made for me. But it's, like I said, it's got the feeling of all the Star Wars. You've got battles, and you're moving through, and stormtroopers are attacking, and it's just so much fun. I just had a great time with it. So that's my solid number 2.
Now, my number 2 is actually the second bag building game in the list. Spurs, I didn't mention before, is actually a bag building game. You're putting bullets in the bag, and you're trying to adjust the ratio so that you can pull out the bullets you want to fit your type of gun. This is a different bag building game, and can you guess which one it is?
Hyperborea?
It is Hyperborea. That's my number 2, and I consider...
Man, that game was almost on my list. But these other newer games kind of pushed it to the side.
I can understand. These are much more up your alley. But Hyperborea gets my best new world game, and that's kind of a fluffy genre. It competes with games like Mark's number 7, which is The Abyss, or just Abyss. In the sense that it presents a new environment. It's not one of the standard themes. It's not trading textiles in the Mediterranean or something like that. Yeah, textile merchant or things like that. It's not the Mideast. It's not the Old West. It's not Asia or anything like that. This is Hyperborea, The Abyss, are just totally different places. They're totally different mechanics. And for those of you who haven't played Hyperborea, we did a review, but it's a very colorful game like Abyss is, and actually like
Very
Five Tribes is.
amazing components.
Yeah, and they so great components, and you are activating different powers by pulling different colored cubes out of your bag and putting them on a player mat.
I really like the dice bag, the bag building.
Oh, yeah.
It's just awesome.
So that's one of the things that I found really intriguing, because I played deck builders before, and actually Legendary Encounters is a deck builder, but the bag builder was fairly new to me this year. And being able to play each of these 6 different races, and that's one of the reasons I want to go back and play quickly, is each race has its own superpower.
Yeah. And I really like the cards that you can pull that do different things.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Really add a lot to the game.
It's like shopping. It's like, oh wow, there's another superpower over there. What should I be? You know. So I found a lot of fun in that game, and as I said, it's kind of just a brand new environment to immerse yourself into.
Yeah, and I got to play that at Gen Con, and I remember when I played it at Gen Con, I got up from the table, and my friend Steve and I, we went and bought it immediately. And I actually got to play a couple rounds with Dan King, and that was just a blast. We had a good time. And it was almost on my list. Oh, it was so close.
Well, I'm glad I got to represent it.
That's right. I'm glad you did. So, okay, down to number 1. So my number 1 game is Dead of Winter. So this game, man, the story, it's very story driven. The theme is great, a zombie theme again. 2 zombie games in my list. But the thing that I really like about it is that it is a cooperative game, but there's an overall goal for everyone to achieve together, but then there's individual goals, and sometimes one of those goals is you being the traitor, or someone in the group is a traitor. There's lots of different characters. It just takes lots of twists and turns. Again, the artwork and everything, I really like the stand-up figures. It's just fantastic fun. And I love the story. When people are traitors, you're like, they can really swing the game either way. And so the thing that's neat too is that you can have some games where everybody wins, some game nobody wins, and some where a few win and some don't. So, you're losing, you're trying to get food and medicine and supplies and everything for the colony, and it's in the middle of winter. So, just a fantastic, fun, super themed, super story driven, and it just sucked me in and won't let go. So,
I'm looking forward to playing that.
Yeah, I can't wait to show you. So, what about you?
My number 1 is in the category of, there's 2 possible categories. One is my favorite abstract brain burner of 2014. But the other category, according to a friend of mine, is the game most likely to produce a heart attack. And it is...
Oh, no.
It's Splendor,
really?
Which I knew wasn't going to be on your list.
Definitely not on my list. However, I love the chips.
You love the chips, that's right.
Let go of the chips.
And you actually love them even though you can't roll them like dice.
This is true.
So Splendor, for those of you who don't know, it's a game that has a very thin veneer of theme about gem trading or cutting or something. It's got, so that's why I call it an abstract brain burner. And the whole premise is you are using gems that you can either take from the pile of chips and spin on a card, which might be worth points, but the card can also represent a gem that you can reuse without actually giving it up. So which do you do? Do you go for the points and save a lot of chips, or do you get a lot of reusable cards that aren't worth any points and then go for the points?
Yep.
We have actually had 3 people go out simultaneously in the same turn.
So it got really tense, right?
It got super tense.
That wasn't my experience.
50. So I'm looking forward to playing more with Mark. His wife likes it, but we went out. One person got 15, one person got 15, and the third person got 18. And our friend Jeff won't even look at my cards because he's just that tense. It's just like, I know he's going to go out. I know he's going to go out. And it's represented an evolution in the way we play, and I think that's one of the things I find fascinating as well. The way I played was initially to get that broad base of free cards with lots of reusable gems, and so halfway in the game I'm just buying everything because I don't have to spin anything. It's all reusable. But then as we played enough and people started going, wow, I'm getting obliterated by that, they went to different, more aggressive strategies, and I watched our play has evolved into a very tight, very aggressive set of strategies.
Interesting.
Now, this, it will probably play differently with different players. But the nice thing is you could play it with your kids.
Oh yeah, sure.
They probably wouldn't be as aggressive in the way they approached it. But it's a fairly simple game. And for those of you who are upset about Camel Up,
it's a deceiving simple game. Because I think it seems simple at first, but I think it's got a lot more depth than what you might think it does.
Right. Because you can start choosing, do I take cards up and save them for later, or do I just buy the ones there? So I think that's part of it. But for those of you who are upset that the Spiel des Jahres decision was to put Camel Up above Splendor, in our list, it's the other way around. There is victory.
Definitely. Well, I think the thing with Camel Up, though, is that it's way more accessible.
It is, and it's a much different type of game. Like I said, it's focused on social interaction.
I've seen games where people are standing up, hooping and hollering, and it's So I think, on that family order where Camel Up probably wins,
And I think that Spiel des Jahres focuses a little bit more on that. So,
definitely.
But I appreciate the fact that those were both good games. I understand why they were in the list, and I'm looking forward to playing the third one, which I think is Istanbul.
Yeah.
Although it's not the one that I'm going to say is the one I'm looking forward to most.
Good. Well, the thing is, and I'm probably going to get a lot of messages about this, but it's Splinter. It's probably not even it's probably in my top 50.
Well, and it doesn't surprise me because, as I said, the theme is virtually non-existent.
Right, yeah.
And in fact, I don't
hate it. It's just, I thought it was, okay.
You could, and I'm going to regret saying this down the road, I know this.
Me too, bro.
Okay, everybody
is slammed.
It's a super thin theme. You basically got 5 different gem types, and you've got gold, so basically 6. And you can strip away those images and forget about gems, and you can replace it with 6 any other types of things, including the elements of harmony. And you could make a My Little Pony themed game out of this. I knew you were going to say. And somebody out there is probably going to do that. But so I'm not surprised that you weren't attracted to it because it's not a heavily themed game. It's just an abstract thinker.
It was fun enough. It just didn't suck me in any way, really.
Yeah.
Although, though, I like the chips.
You like the chips.
Yes.
They're great chips.
Yes, they are. All right, so bonus game. So the game of 2014 that I haven't played that I'm most looking forward to is, I think you say Zaya, legendary or a drift system, right? Zaya. This game just amazing components, and Tom has talked about it, how fun it is. I want to play it so bad. I must have this game. So that's probably the game I'm most looking forward to playing that I haven't at the present time. So.
And if you get that, invite me over.
Oh, yes.
I think that'd be a lot of fun.
It looks amazing, right? It's the ships and the cards and everything that you play. And I don't know a ton about it. I just know that I'm going to love it. Well, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure. And Tom's already mentioned the fact that there's a lot of flexibility in how you play. If you want to be a trader, you can go around collecting stuff, you can trade. Right. If you want to do battle, that's great. If you want to negotiate, that's great.
Just like in Five Tribes, right? There's lots of different things, lots of options that you can do in the game.
Yeah.
And that always kind of sucks me in as well, And again, the components and the art and the little ships and stuff, very cool, very, very cool.
It's not going to win my award for less is more because it's not a $20 game.
It's definitely not a $20 game. The price is definitely a little steep, but it looks like it's worth it.
It looks like a cool game.
Yeah.
My game that I'm looking forward to playing, from 2014 I'm looking forward to playing, because we had to have something in common, it's another game with a funny word that starts with an X. It's Lords of Exodit, or Zidit, or I'm not certain how to pronounce it.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it is a simultaneous action selection game.
I played at Gen Con. Okay. So it's pretty fun.
I like games
like Z is the one that turned me on to it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
cool. Z Garcia.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks, Z, for doing that. So I'm looking forward to getting a chance to play that because I like games like Robo Rally and Jamaica, where you're simultaneously choosing your actions, and you flip the cards and you see what the carnage is after that. And this one looks like a good one.
Well, we should definitely try it out. And I didn't get to play full game. I only played a couple rounds.
Cool.
So those are our games we're most looking forward to that we haven't played yet in 2014. Okay, so that's our top 14 of 2014. This was our very first favorites list. So it was a blast to put together. We're very happy to be part of the Dice Tower. Big shout out and thank you to Tom and everybody, all the contributors. You guys have been great, very accepting of us. We just enjoyed our time here, and this is the close of our first year on the Dice Tower. It's just been a fantastic experience.
We also want to give a shout out and big warm appreciation, a note of appreciation to all those you who have viewed our episodes, who provided comments, both complimentary and constructive.
That's right, exactly.
Yes, that we
It's
really
been great.
Yeah,
we appreciate even all the comments. It's just great to interact with all of you.
So thank you so much for that. And if you have any questions or comments or recommendations for games that fall in the categories we mentioned today,
please
feel free to provide them below.
Comment below. Yeah. And just big, again, thank you to all the viewers. You guys really appreciate all the support for the videos and for us following us on Twitter. It's been fantastic experience so far. We look forward to many more years of the same. So
and we do want to wish you, for those of you watching at the end of 2014, we want to wish you a very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating, Happy New
holidays.
Year. Yes, and have a wonderful end to your 2014 and a great beginning to 2015.
Exactly. So thanks for joining us, folks, and until next time, we'll see you at the table.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.